So welcome to Enoch Rides, Motovlog number 1. So in this video we are going to be talking about higher CC motorbikes, specifically A2 motorbikes, because I know this is probably the most popular topic in the whole of Europe in terms of motorbikes is A2 motorbikes, because it's the biggest category, right? Because you've got the people who have just come from beginners, from 125s or even 50 cc's over to, you know, the 500 cc. And then you've also got the people that are a little bit older, who in the UK, if you're 19, you can go straight to the A2, who just want to get on the road, right, with motorbikes. So it's quite a big section when it comes to the A2 license. So we've got two types of motorbikes that you can get, right? And these two types of motorbikes, the MT-07, and you've got the R7, you've got the CBR 650R, you've got the CB 650R. So you've got the naked and you've got the sports version of pretty much a lot of brands. You've got the Ninja 400, the 500, the Ninja 650. There's a lot of bikes that you can go for. I can filter all this. You can go for basically, but obviously it's down to preference. Fully is down to preference. I'm just gonna go on this side. It's down to preference and a lot of other things. So why's this guy staying there? I'm gonna go right here, mate, as long as I can see the red light. So yeah, it's down to preference, it's down to a lot of things. But usually if you're on a naked bike, you're higher up. A lot of city riding, to be honest, because you like the comfortability, right? And they're torquey, they're good for the city, especially in London. I can speak for myself because I had an MT-07. It was absolutely beautiful in London. You know, it's got the torque, it's got the comfortability, it's got all the things that you'd want in a bike or a first bike. You know, you don't want your first bike to be uncomfortable because you're learning on it. You know what I mean? You're learning all the controls, you're learning flashes, if you want to let someone through, you're learning a lot of things. So you don't want to have to add extra on top of your plate when you're learning to ride a bike, right? So as you know, guys, when you do have your license in the UK, I can speak for the UK at least, you can jump on 47 brake horsepower max, I think, and it's 500cc max. You can get, like the bikes I said, you can get the R7, but you have to restrict it like this. You can get the MT-07, but you're going to have to restrict it as well. Yeah, there's a lot of bikes. You can go for the CBR 500R, which you don't have to restrict at all. But of course, like I said, you want to kind of stay away from sports bikes because you're learning the controls and you want to get used to everything before you jump on a sports bike and you want to go around like that. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But yeah, so look, you get your license, you get on the road. So the A2, I'll talk a little bit about it in terms of how the licensing works, right? So A2 works in the UK. You have to be 19 years old, you have to do your motorbike theory, and you have to have a completed CBT, okay? So once you've done those things, you can go for your Module 1 and your Module 2, okay? So your Module 1 will consist of slow maneuvers. So we're talking, you'll manually move the bike from one area to another area. That's completely off the bike, of course. And you'll also have to do a slalom around some cones. You'll have to do a figure of 8. You'll have to do hazard avoidance. You'd have to do a controlled stop. So these types of things. Then after you've successfully completed that, right, you've passed with flying colors and now you've got your Module 1, you can then move on to your Module 2. Now this is completely on the road, and we're talking exactly how we are here. You'll have an instructor. Most of the time you have 2 other riders with you doing the same test, and that will basically entail you riding on the road. They'll basically see whether you're safe enough to, like these type of situations. There's a car right over there, you're not going to be speeding at it, are you? You're going to slow down and maintain your distance. You're going to check your mirrors here and there. You're going to make sure whenever you do like an overtake, you're checking your blind spot. Before you're moving off, you're checking your blind spots. Like these things are very important on this test. Once you complete that successfully and you're able to show that you can ride competently and confidently on the road, you'll be given your A2 license. Now, as I said before, this is restricted 500cc 47 brake horsepower. Of course, there are a lot of models of motorbikes which you can search up online that are restrictable, that you can restrict down to those requirements, okay? And yeah, so once you've got your A2, you can get on the road properly. I'd say that's your first taste of big bikes, is your A2 license, because the 125 and the 50s are pretty slow, and you know, they're not really fun. They're not really what bikes are meant to be made for. They're made for learning and getting around in a small city. So once you got your big bike, now you can choose which bike you want. All right, so as I said before, naked bikes, very comfortable. Not on the motorway though, because you'll be hitting a lot of wind, but like I said, it's for the city. Oh, I don't know what that person's done. Anyways, moving on. What was I saying? Oh, I've lost my train of thought. So yeah, naked bikes, MT-07. MT-03 is a good option as well. CB300R is also, hello doggy, is a good option as well. You know, so these type of bikes are all naked, right? Because like I said before, you want to know where the controls are. You don't want to be leant over, and you don't want, and it's also another thing, it's harder to maneuver a sports bike than it is a naked bike. And we're talking in terms of it's a 30, isn't it? Yeah. We're talking in terms of like moving it around physically, like, you know, maneuvering it off the bike and also moving it on the bike. If you're doing a U-turn on a sports bike, it's going to be much more difficult to execute than it is on a naked bike, because you've got these to worry about, right? But like I said, you know, go for the naked bike. In my opinion, that's what I'd recommend. A lot of naked bikes you can go for. You guys can always message me on Instagram or TikTok if you want to know in more detail what naked bikes there are that you can get into. But like I said, it's quite straightforward. Quick Google search will do you a good one. That's a pothole, isn't it? But yeah, so you've got that. And then you've also got, now we'll talk about the sports bike. Say for example, you don't really mind, you've either ridden a 125 or a 50cc, you've had a naked, and you want to go through to a sports bike because you've had experience, right? The R7 and the CBR 650R, all these sports bikes, they're quite beginner friendly, because as long as you know the fundamentals of riding a motorbike, you can jump on them and the position change wouldn't be as difficult, right? Because that's the way I had it. I had the MT-07 and I was used to the power, of course. I just wasn't used to the positioning. Took me no longer than a week to get used to it at all, and I was pretty much chilling basically when it came to the positioning, right? So yeah, once you get your A2 license, you can now jump on the road with the big boys, I'd say. There'll be a lot of 1000cc riders who go, oh no, you're still slow, but ignore them, because probably got their license when there was only one test for all of the things, you know. And yeah, so yeah, so like I said, that's how it works really for the A2. The A license, which is the fully unrestricted license, is pretty much the same thing. It's exactly the same test in the UK. It's just I can't remember exactly what CC you do need, but it's basically the same exact test, just with the higher CC version, in order to get your unrestricted license. And obviously after that, you're like an American 16-year-old kid, you know. You've got absolutely no you're right, mate. You've got absolutely no affiliation with lower CC bikes anymore. You can get whatever you want. You can go for a booster if you want. You can go for a what else can you go for? This guy's trying to race me, mate. You can go for a boost. You can go for the ZX14RR. You can go for pretty much most bikes. And yeah, I mean, none's the wiser. Basically, you can do what you want. But yeah, that's my little take on it. And yeah, so that motovlog, literally just talking about bikes, to be honest. I may change the topic in the future where I talk about other topics. You know, maybe I'll get some influence from Instagram and TikTok where people want me to talk about some topics, but we'll see how. Oh, that was nice. That was very nice. We'll see how this goes, and from there we will take it from there. Oh, that was a nice pop, wasn't it? That was a very nice pop. This BMW's coming down quite fast. I didn't realise we went absolutely the wrong way. So yeah, anyway, now to put music on and just blast it down, mate.
Tell me, baby, do you